Hey guys, Will Terry here, and today I have the 10 Commandments for Illustrators. And what you're noticing is you are on my website right now. I realize I have a lot of people that follow my YouTube channel, and some people don't even really know what I do. So I thought I'd put stuff here. And I actually made the 10 Commandments and I put it on my blog over here. I'm not really using my blog really that much, but I decided to make these 10 commandments for illustrators and put it there, and you can download it and print it. I wish I had had something like this when I first started illustrating. I had put different sayings all over around my desk and stuff, and they all related to this. So I'm going to go over these today and tell you kind of my thoughts on them. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And I've got some books here. This is my What They Don't Teach in Art School book. And if you missed getting a copy of that on the Kickstarter, you can pick it up by clicking on it right here. Okay, so let's dive in. The 10 Commandments for Illustrators. Number 1, never lie to your clients. There will probably be times where you will be in a pinch while you're doing freelance illustration. Something came up, you didn't get the assignment done on time, and it's tempting to lie and say, well, something came up, and for these reasons and these reasons and these reasons I didn't get it done. One of the worst things you can do professionally is to lie to a client, because so often they can smell a lie. They don't really want to hear excuses anyway. Sometimes you might put something in. You might be working with an art director or more than one art director, and someone mentioned something and you missed it. You didn't put it in the illustration, and it might be easy to lie and say, well, so and so didn't give me that information, so I didn't have it to put in there. Just know that you will always gain more respect for yourself. You'll feel better, and your clients will respect you if you fall on your own sword when things go wrong. And inevitably, there's going to be jobs where something goes wrong, and you will be tempted to lie. And I can just tell you, not by sad experience, because I never lied to a client, but I do know some people who have lied to clients, and it doesn't end well. It just never ends well. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I have a phone call, which I'm not going to take right now. Number 2, always deliver on time or early. And this one has served me so well. And this kind of gets you out of the situation of wanting to lie about being late on something. What I do is I take my calendar when I accept an assignment. I find out what the due date is, and then I make my own personal due date a couple days before, a week before. And I try to forget their due date, and I try to stick with mine. Now, one thing that I do or don't do is I often won't send it a week early, because chances are if you send something in a week early, they've got all this time. Now they can ask you to make changes, and sometimes those are arbitrary changes, and they're unnecessary. I would send it a day or two. So even if you get it done a week early, sit on it. Send it a day or two early. They're going to be happy. Wow, you not only came on time, you came in early. It's going to give you more points. It's going to make them want to work with you again, because you're reliable. So number 2 is so important. Always deliver your artwork on time or early. Number 3, improve your work every year. And this is one that, I've met a lot of illustrators, and I've had a lot of friends that are illustrators, and some of them are still illustrating today. I've been doing this for 30 years. This is my actually 30th year. I finished school, art school, in 1992. This is 2022. So 30 years ago, and right about this time of year, because school got out in the spring. So it's almost exactly 30 years and that's when I started freelancing. And one of the things that I've noticed with the illustrators that aren't working today is they kind of got into a mode of just phoning it in. just doing the minimum required to get the job done. They weren't particularly passionate about what they were doing, and it shows. And with the world becoming more and more globalized every year, that means the competition is higher. You have sites like Instagram where it's so easy to publish your work now to where other people can see it, that the best of the best people are now available in just about any country to art directors. So it's more and more competitive. So you can't afford not to strive for a better portfolio every year. And really every year or every other year, your portfolio should be changing over. You should be doing, have 5 or 10 brand new images that are better than the other 5 or 10 brand new images every year. And so you should just definitely be looking on how to improve your art. One of the things that happens there is you'll be stuck in a current level of what you can do with your art, how good your art is, and often you won't see where those improvements can be. You have to be comparing yourself to the people that are better than you, the people, the heroes, the illustrators that you look up to, and you have to be constantly asking yourself, why do I look up to them? Why is their artwork better than mine? What are they doing that I could be doing? Where am I cutting corners? Where could I be spending more time and making my work better? And it could be anything from the concept, the idea, the storytelling, through the rendering, through the design. It might be, that your drawing and anatomy needs to be worked on and improved. But everyone can improve every year, and that should be one of the commandments that you follow. Number 4. This should be so obvious, right? Thou shalt not steal work from other artists. Don't do it. There's nothing wrong with being inspired and influenced by other artists. Before I create any piece of art, I go and look at other artists' work. I want to be inspired. I want to get excited. And I look at a lot of great images, and I say to myself, I want to create an image that's worthy of those images, that fits in there, that contributes to the body of work that the human race has done thus far, right? And I want to do something that people will be impressed by. I am definitely inspired by other people's work, and you can definitely see other people's work in my work, but I don't straight up copy other people's work. I don't take their ideas. I don't take their compositions and just keep everything the same. That's so uninspiring, and it's so it's gross, and it's not fun. You're not creating anything. You're poorly representing someone else's hard work. So just don't steal from other artists. It never ends well. People with the internet now, people on the internet will find the original and do a side-by-side comparison on yours and try to expose you, to avoid embarrassment and shame. Just, if you're tempted to do that, just know that you just can't do it. I actually, the other day, and I would never out this artist, but I got an assignment, and the client sent me samples from 3 or 4 artists' work that she liked, including my own. And she sent me an illustration that someone had copied of mine, and it was a direct copy. And she didn't send the one, interesting enough, that I had done. She probably hadn't seen that one, or maybe she thought I copied the other illustrator. But I showed my business partners, and they looked at it and like, oh, that's a direct copy of your work, And I there's no part of me that wants to embarrass someone. That's why I wouldn't, so I would almost imagine that people in the comments will go, well, you should do it because this, that, or the other, and so they won't do it again. My feeling is I've never seen anybody, no successful illustrator has ever gotten to success by copying other people's work and passing it off as their own. I've just never seen that. I've never seen anyone gain respect and a career out of copying long term. So if they do copy, then chances are they're going to eventually, if not already, have felt bad about it. And they're already moving to realizing that it's a dead end game. They don't need me outing them or anything like that. Number 5, celebrate the success of fellow artists. You know, if you take the time to congratulate other people, it will change who you are. And likewise, if you are jealous of other people and you feel, feel like they're stealing the limelight and you're not getting any, that's an inward kind of mindset that is poisonous and will stunt your growth. But if you are, if you're congratulatory, if you join in celebrating the success of others, and can genuinely do that, it will make you an open person. It will make you, it will grow your network of other artists, and opportunities will flow out of that. There's no substitute for being a good person, and that's definitely one of them. So definitely celebrate the success of fellow artists' work. Hey, before I keep going here, I just want to show you guys really quick. I'm at willterry.com, but if you go to the SVS Learn tab right here, I'm just going to take 10 seconds and plug this. This is our online school for children's book illustrators and graphic novelists, comic book illustrators. Click on the curriculum tab here, and we actually have a level 1 courses. We've got level 2 courses. We've got a path for becoming a children's book illustrator, and we even have a free trial. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I don't want to spend any more time on that, but just to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Okay, back to the commandments. So number 6, seek new skills and knowledge. Now this is different from improving your work. And the reason I put this on there is I really feel like the artists that I know that are killing it, that are making a really good living, are learning new skills. So for instance, if you're an illustrator and you have good illustration skills, what about learning writing skills, or learning game design skills, or learning things? And I talk about this a lot about being the artist creator, so that you can launch projects on crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter. And if you seek out other skills and other knowledge, you can create a product that takes your illustration. Sure, that's one aspect. That's one part of your talent stack. But if you add more skills on there, you can actually be the creator of a product that could sell really well. I'm actually working on one right now that I will be announcing probably in 2 or 3 weeks from now. A project that I'm going to be launching a Kickstarter on, something that I've never done before. I've looked on Amazon, I've looked all over, and I haven't seen anyone doing this before. So this is a project that I truly believe is brand new, and the product is illustration. And anyway, stick around to keep following my channel to figure out what that is, to find out. I'm going to be careful in the launch of that, because I don't want the idea to get out there before I can launch it. So seek new skills and knowledge. Number 7, only take assignments that you can absolutely love. Okay. Boy, was this a hard lesson that I had to learn along the way. I used to take anything and everything that came along because I really wanted to pay the bills. There's a time where you have to take assignments that you might not totally love. Okay. So I broke this commandment many times. There's a pain aspect to it. When you break a commandment, you kind of know that you're heading into a road that is fraught with a little bit of danger. For this one, I say only break it if you've got to have the money, but just know that it's going to create other problems. And that is, if you don't love the assignment that you've taken on, you're just not going to be able to do your best work. If you can't do your best work, you're not going to get repeat work with that work. So really the only thing you're getting out of it is money. And that's fine. if that's all, if that's what you really need. But you're not going to have as much fun working on those illustrations. I used to do editorial work. That's what I started doing, that for magazines and newspapers. And at first it was fun because I was getting paid good money to do it. There were years in the late 90s where I was doing, I think the most I did in a month was 25 assignments, and I turned down. Every month I was turning down 5 to 10 more assignments because I just didn't have time to do them. But it got to a point where I was burned out, and I just hated that work, and that's what kicked me over and got me working on my children's book portfolio, because that's really, I found fulfillment there. So in my spare time, I was working even harder to try to generate another portfolio to make a leap into assignments that I could love, which was children's books. Number 8, prioritize illustrating the concept. So this one is one, if I had heard this one when I was in school or maybe in the first 5 years, I would have probably said, yeah, I understand that. I get that. I know what you're talking about there. And if a teacher explained it to me, I still probably would have thought I understood it. I didn't understand it. So I'm going to explain it as I understand it, and hopefully you guys can understand it. But it might take you might be going along years down the road and go, oh, that's what he's talking about. So illustrators, one of our problems is that we love to make pretty pictures. We love to draw. We love to create fun buildings and architecture and fun characters, and we like to use a lot of colors, and we like to make fun and interesting landscapes along with the vehicles that we have driving down the roads and different things like that. And we like to candy up our illustrations, okay? But what if the words that we're illustrating, that we're narrating, don't want to be candied up and require a more simple approach, or basically something that is completely different than what pops into our head at first of, oh, I could draw this and I could draw all these great, amazing things. I was stuck in that mode for probably 15 years. The first 15 years of illustrating, I illustrated what I wanted. To heck with the text. I mean, I loosely narrated the text, and sometimes I nailed it, but most of the time I was putting anything and everything that I wanted to paint. And I was like, these are the things that I want to paint, and publisher, you're just gonna have to like it, because I'm gonna draw some really fun things, some great shapes, some great characters, and some great color, and I'm gonna make this beautiful, whether you like it or not. And it took an artist, the artist David Small, who was a Caldecott Award winner, who said, why do you have to use so much damn color? And I was really offended when he said that. I'm like, who's he? He doesn't use color at all. What the heck? How does he doesn't know anything about making great pictures and stuff. I mean, his work is okay. He can draw, but he doesn't do color well. But man, when someone says something to you, if they say, I don't know, something ridiculous, and it's not you, it doesn't resemble you at all, chances are you won't be offended by it at all, because it's just a flippant comment by someone who probably doesn't even know you and hasn't spent the time to get to know you. It could be somebody driving along and they call you a name or something, on the road, and you're like, that's just not me, that you get accused of something that's not you. It doesn't hurt. But when someone accuses you or calls you out on something that might be true, or kind of attacks the thing that you think you're good at, like I was at this time, it hurt. I'm like, how dare he? How, and first you go through the outrage, and you go through, being upset. But then that comment just stuck with me, because I prided myself on how good my color is, and how dare he attack my color? That's the thing that I'm good at. That's the thing that I'm known for. And so over time, over weeks, I started to think, what does he mean by that? I'm just using too much color. And then he had also said, You don't give people a chance to see your focal point because you got color everywhere. And then I remembered that he had said that part too. And I'm like, huh, I do. I put color everywhere. And then the idea popped into my head, I don't like movies that have action from beginning to end. After a while, you go numb, right? Yeah, when there's just nonstop action and there's no story really, it's just mindless. You know, some of the some of the Transformer movies come to mind where I'm like, I get it, you got special effects, but I can only watch so much of that, and then it becomes boring. So that's what I was doing. And so number 8 really speaks to, as an illustrator, don't impose your drawing skills, your coloring skills, your drawing skills, you know, on the words. Absorb the words, absorb what you're trying to narrate, and then try to best figure out how you can tell that story visually, and take out things that aren't telling that story. Anything that distracts from telling that story. Because I look at my students' work when we do SVS Learn and we do Critique Arena or something, I look at a lot of the students' work and I'm like, they illustrated a nice picture, but it's not the assignment that we gave. They're not illustrating that assignment. They're illustrating something else. And that won't get you work at the end of the day. Okay, enough on number 8. Number 9, always ask to increase the budget. And, you know, I made a video on this a little while ago for this channel. And what that does is, if you always ask your clients to bump up the budget a little bit more. So let's say they offer you, you know, $800 to illustrate a full page illustration. And you could say yes, you know. In the video that I made, you know, a few months back, and this is 2022 right now, in that video, I showed how much illustrators used to make, you know, over 100 years ago, and we're getting paid the same amount in dollars, but with inflation, and I even showed, like, you know, a silver dollar in that one. You know, this actual silver dollar is worth like $34 today. This is from 1922, and it's worth, you know, it's worth $34 today. And that's because this didn't change. This is the same dollar. But what changed was inflation, and the dollar got weaker. So you need more dollars now to buy stuff. So what's happening is, over time, we're making less and less. Even though we're getting paid the same in dollars, we can buy, less stuff. So if we ask to bump up the budgets, if everyone asks to bump up the budgets, then everyone will benefit. And let's say, even if you don't have time to do a job, this is what I do. If I don't have time to do a job and I know I'm going to turn it down, I will usually ask for like triple the money, knowing that they won't give it to me. And if they do, then I get to illustrate something for triple what I would get. If they say, you know, well, that's way too expensive, like, why should I pay you that much? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. I would just come back and say, I am totally busy, and for me to bump other important things out of my life, you know, time with my wife, time with friends, time working on projects and chores and things like that around the house, I'm going to need more money. This is the way it is. And I don't blame you if you can't do it, but I need more money. If more people do that, it will put upward pressure on prices. So I feel like it's a really good thing to always ask to increase the budget. And then, hey, when you increase it, like if you're offered $800 and you say, you know, can you make it $1,000? Often they will say yes. You'll get another couple $100 out of it. It's not their money, it's the company's money. Okay, so the person you're asking doesn't care, and you'll never lose the job if you ask. The worst thing that they'll say is, no, we can't bump up the budget. I'm really sorry. It's $800 or leave it. And at that point, you can say, okay, I still want to do it, you know. And you don't lose face. If you said, well, I have to have triple, and they say, no, we can only offer $800, and you go, Well, okay, I'll do it for 800. Then you look foolish. Okay. So you have to be willing to lose it if you're asking for a really, high price. But it's always good to ask for a little bit more. In fact, a lot of clients will have $1,000 written down in their budget, and they'll offer you 800 because they know you're going to ask for 1,000. Because a lot of illustrators do that. So you just need to know that that's a common thing. Last but not least, 10, give back in charity and teaching. And I really feel like this is probably the most important one, if not one of the most important ones on here. I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't had the charity and the help of other illustrators filling in the gaps and helping me along in my career, giving me opportunities, sharing, when they couldn't illustrate an assignment, making a suggestion of myself, suggesting to their client, hey, why don't you try this Will Terry guy? So that's part of it. Helping others. One of the crazy things is when you help illustrators that are below you, beneath your skill level, in order to explain and break down a concept to them, you have to break it down in such a way that often epiphanies will come into your brain about your own process. It's a crazy thing, but teaching is one of those things that actually makes your art better. So I say do it because it'll make you feel good and it'll help other people. But you could even do it out of pure selfishness and help other people and get better yourself. So I think it's super important. And I have never helped someone, I get emails all the time from illustrators and from students who are like, hey, I've got a question. I can't find the answer to this anywhere. Will you take the time? And I always get back. My inbox, if someone asks me a question about illustration, I will always get back to them. And it's just something that I try to pride myself in. Sometimes I will give them a video link or something like that and say, hey, check out this video. I think it'll answer your question. In fact, that's how this channel started. The reason why I started this channel is I was as a teacher, I was getting so many questions from my students. I was like, and I get the same questions, and I thought, it would be more efficient to lay this down in a video and then just send links out. So that's why I started this channel. I never thought that I would continue doing it. It was like, I'll just put down, whenever I have a question, I'll put down the answer in a video form, and eventually I'll answer all the questions and then I can stop making videos. Well, that didn't happen. So anyway, those are my 10 commandments. You can download this, print it out, hang it in your studio if you want to. And I will be making some more videos pretty soon here announcing my new project. What I want to do, I'm just going to take the last few minutes to kind of tease that a little bit and tell you what my plan is. I want to bring those of you who watch my channel regularly and who, the ones that follow most of my videos, I want you guys to have kind of a front seat in me launching this Kickstarter of this product that I think has never been done before. And it is either going to flop and fail hard, or I think it's going to, I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it's going to do really well, but it could totally fail. But I want you to see every step of the way. I'm going to share things like setting up in the back office of my Kickstarter. I'll probably do some screen grabs of showing the decisions that I'm making and preparing the Kickstarter to launch. I will definitely share with you the project before it launches, and I will show you artwork from it. Right now, I'm about 40% finished with the artwork. I don't plan to fully launch this until about August of this year. And it's May now, so we've got a few months. But in working on it, I will be making update videos for this channel. And then when I launch, I'm going to announce it on YouTube first. And I will launch a video on YouTube saying it's live. And that way, anybody that watches my YouTube regularly can get in on the limited signed editions, because you can't sign them all if they do really well. Like what they don't teach in art school. I ended up selling about 8,000 copies of those on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, before I started selling them on Amazon and other places. And I just want to let you guys know, a lot of people say, well, they're going to be cheaper on Amazon later. No, they're actually a little bit more expensive on Amazon. And I do that on purpose because I don't want to ever train anybody and tell people like, hey, don't support the Kickstarter because it's going to be cheaper later on. No, it'll always be more expensive later on. And you guys should do that too. You never want to punish your early adopters and your most loyal backers with a lower price to someone else who's a total stranger to your products and who just kind of bumped along. Why should they get a better discount than what you're offering? So you should never offer it lower. That's my opinion later on. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope these 10 commandments make you better at running your business and at running your being an illustrator. And that is all I have, and I will see you on the next one.